It's prime time with the exclusive Praetor Prime in issue 5 of Stormbringer. Hello and welcome to The Lucky Roll, an eclectic channel for eclectic games, and today we're going to be reviewing issue 5 of the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Hachette Collection Stormbringer magazine. Now the mini you get with this issue is the Praetor Prime, which is actually a fantastic little figure, but before we look at her, we'll have a look at what's actually inside the magazine. Now it has a nice little bit here on reforging, so basically when a Stormcast Eternal dies, they are taken up to heaven to, I think, Azir, and it's basically they're recast anew and sent back down to battle again. So they're perpetual. Stormcast Eternals live forever, and this just goes into some detail of how it's not only how it's done with them, but also it's also used as a weapon. That sometimes Stormcast Eternals will go straight into the middle of an enemy's ranks, get struck down, and a huge ball of lightning will come down and bring their soul back up to Sigmar and blind all the actual enemies. So it's just a little bit of information on that. It goes into the history of the realms. So you have different ages here. You've got the Age of Myth, and you've got the Gift of Civilization and the Powers of Chaos. So it gives you a little bit more background. And of course you also have the Chaos Gods. So you have Khorne, you have Tzeentch, you have Nurgle, you have Slaanesh, and you have the Great Horned Rat, which is the god of vermin and the Skaven, which is a very interesting kind of chaos god. I believe in the end times in the old Warhammer fantasy, it was the Rat King or the Great Horned Rat that kind of brought an end to everything. You have here the actual Stormcast Praetors. So you have herself there, which is the actual main character, and it goes into kind of a little bit more detail. Of course, it has the how to build guide and how to paint guide, and it does go into little bits of detail because you do have some paints now at this stage. So if you're using the paints in the guide, this is what you get. However, I fortunately have a lot of my own paints, so I've gone ahead and painted it, and I'll show you now in a second. We have, of course, a playthrough, which is a deadly choice, which, of course, encompasses all the new minis. And this is a fun part of the magazine because as you collect more minis, you get to kind of battle them and try them out with figures you already have. So, of course, you have here the Stormcast War Scrolls, which is basically the stats of the actual characters. Some information on the Stormcast turn, end of battle round, and the results for Cruel Boys or Stormcast victory. So it also goes into a little bit more detail here in terms of the actual game turns, such as hero phase, movement phase, shooting phase, charge phase, combat phase, and battle shock phase. And the actual combat phase here gives you a little bit of information. So it's a straightforward enough magazine because there's only one mini in it. It's a little bit light on the actual lore, but nevertheless the mini itself is fantastic. So this is the Praetor Prime. Now she's actually a brunette on the magazine cover, but my wife is a blonde, so I said I'd do her blonde, and I'd show this to my wife as a kind of a gift. And I thought she thought I would be romantic, and she was thinking, "Oh God, why did you put me in such horrible, heavy, scary-looking armor?" Now it is a fantastic mini. I mean, she really strikes a pose on the battlefield. She's got her halberd with the actual the wind blowing the actual banner. She has her mark of office here. It's a model that went together very well, and I'm quite happy with it. I put on a lot of Reichland flesh shade onto the actual armor to kind of tone down the gold a little bit because, you know, this is a warrior who leads from the front. You're also supposed to kind of do white on the actual armor, but my particular color scheme, I tend not to work with white because I don't like the way it looks, but also I like my models to have a kind of a darker, grungier look, so I decided to opt for a pure black leather cape. The only thing I made a mistake with was the halberd here. It should be on the other side of her foot, but by the time I had it glued, by the time I noticed it, I already had it glued, and I was unable to kind of take it off and twist it back. Now, I might do that a little bit later, but I said I'd do it for this video just to show people that, she needs to... It should be on the outside of the foot, so just be careful when you're gluing it. Otherwise, Exceptional little model, I have to say. A really, really nice figure piece and a great commanding figure for the battlefield. I also really like the fact that she has this tiny little bun in the back of her hair. So definitely a woman who is not to be messed or trifled with. So that is issue 5 of the Hachette Stormbringer magazine. Tune in next week when we do issue 6, which I believe is 10 Hobgrot Slitters. So until next time, this is Sean from The Lucky Roll. As always, if you enjoyed these videos, good luck, God bless. Hit the like, subscribe, and see you next time.